All right, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all here. Call to order this meeting and welcome you all here. It's a good thing that we can be together again this evening. And we acknowledge that the Northern Rockies Admin Center is located in the heart of the traditional territory of the Dene, Cree, and Danesa people of Fort Nelson and Prophet River Nations. We further recognize the rights provided by our treaty. Finally, we also celebrate the contributions and the enduring presence of the Métis people in our region. Please be advised that tonight's meeting is available for the public to attend virtually and is being streamed and recorded. Council CAO additions. I have one addition, and that is the proclamation in front of me. Proclamation regarding the Drowning Prevention Week. And I think it's just plain timely to have this time of year. I was delighted to have this on the agenda. We had these conversations around my own table, given that it's summertime and the ponds are open. I mean, the farm ponds and other things. And of course, I have kids and grandkids that are out there splashing. And so water safety is important. So, whereas the mission of the Life Saving Society Canada is to prevent drowning throughout this great country, and even one drowning in British Columbia is one too many, and most drownings are preventable in a water smart community, and only through water smart education and a healthy respect for the potential danger that any body of water may present can we genuinely enjoy the beauty and recreation opportunities offered by these bodies of water. And whereas the Life Saving Society urges Canadians and residents of the Northern Rockies to supervise children who are in and around the water to refrain from drinking alcoholic beverages while participating in aquatic activities, and to always wear a life jacket when boating. And whereas the United Nations General Assembly passed the UN resolution on the drowning prevention, A/75L76, and named July 25th of each year as World Drowning Prevention Day. And whereas the Life Saving Society Canada has declared July 16 to 22nd, 2023 National Drowning Prevention Week to focus on the drowning problem and the hundreds of lives that could be saved this year. And now, therefore, the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality hereby proclaims the July 16th to 22nd of 2023 as Drowning Prevention Week in the Northern Rockies Regional Municipality. And I'd like to add to this that it's actually my pleasure. Can I get a picture together with Sheila? It's actually my pleasure to do this for another reason, and that is that I was present at the pool when Sheila saved the life of one of my grandkids in the pool. Yeah, and you were fantastic. You remember it. I'll never forget it.
It's tattooed here for the rest of my life.
Yes. Anyway, and it's actually Are there any other additions? No additions, staff, no additions, council. Okay. Public comment period. Are there any attendees online that would like to speak? Okay, and anyone in the gallery wish to comment? Okay, the adoption of agenda. I'd like to ask for motion to adopt agenda. Councillor and councillor. So, Councillor Andrews and Councillor Enox. I wasn't looking up either. All in favor? Carried. So the adoption of minutes, we have the Special Regional Council of Highway on June 24th, the Committee of the Whole on June 26th, the Regional Council meeting of June 26th, and the Committee of the Whole, June 27th, 2023. A mover. Mover, Councillor Andrews. Second, Councillor Enox. All in favor? Unless you wanted to comment, I was supposed to ask if you want to comment first. That's fine. I'm sure you'll comment if you want to. So are there any business arising from the minutes? Question.
I
Yes.
just had a question on the charging stations. We were gonna look at the land across by Bank of Nova Scotia. I wonder where we're at with that.
There's still prepping information that is report coming back to council, so let's get to the next meeting. With regards, because it's a number of other properties that council has to investigate too.
So any other business arising from the meeting? Any other topics? None? Okay, and so we'll skip the next one because that's taken care of already on the agenda. Yeah. Reports, bylaws, and policies. Admin report number 39 of 23, BC Infrastructure Planning Grant for the NRRM Raw Water Pretreatment Options Feasibility Study. Speaking to the report. Here we go, Jasmine.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Is that working? I don't think so. Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Here we are.
The recommendation outlined in this report is to proceed with an application to the BC Infrastructure Planning Grant Program for funding of up to $10,000 to the NRRM's Raw Water Pretreatment Options Feasibility Study. Earlier this year, Council approved a budget of $50,000 to proceed with a study which will help identify and develop options for silt removal from the NRRM's raw water system. At the time that the budget was considered, no grant revenues had been identified for the project. However, the BC Infrastructure Planning Grant offered by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs focuses on assisting local governments with the development of long-term comprehensive plans, feasibility studies, preliminary designs, and asset management plans that will improve public health and safety and community wellness. As this program is in line with the objectives of the Raw Water Pretreatment Options Feasibility Study, the recommendation is to proceed with an application to the program for funding up to $10,000. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, council, what would you like to do with this?
I just have one question.
Yes,
So when we apply for grants like this, even though it's only $10,000, do we have to contribute on top of that grant? Or is the grant just $10,000?
There would be a matching contribution, I believe, for this one, Jasmine.
Yeah, so the formula outlined in this grant is the first 5,000 will be paid in full. And for anything after 5,000 to 10,000 will be matched. So they will meet us 50%.
Okay.
see. Anyone else?
I'll make a motion that an application be made to the BC Infrastructure Planning Grant Program for funding of up to 10,000 of the NRRM Raw Water Pretreatment Option Feasibility Study with a project cost estimate of $50,000.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Enox. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you, Council.
You. Okay, and so we have the various items of correspondence, the letter from James, how do you pronounce James' last name? Sewell? Cool? Cool. 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 It's cool anyway. Will be cool. James, and we have that was regarding the Caribou Protection and Recovery Plan. We had the NRRM letter to Nadia Mori the coordinator of the Peace River Forge Association regarding the ag tour request for support, and the council information package of June 28th and the council information package of July 5th. Is there any discussion, or no, what would you like to do with these?
Just receive for information.
Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Enox, any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Are there any council additions at this point? No council additions. How about if are there any councillor reports? Sorry. Councillor Enox.
I'll speak fast. Well, I'll try to.
You don't have to. You're not in a hurry.
I almost missed it. Canada Day, of course, we all enjoyed the parade. I had the honor of helping unveil Mike Irwin's memory box at the rec center. I read James Irwin, his brother, his speech. It was pretty loud in there, but I think for the most part, a lot of people heard. I did post it so everybody could actually see what James had said. He's very honored and thankful for the rec staff and the NRRM for doing that in Mike's memory. After that, I zipped over to Boston Pizza. We had a fundraiser for North Paw Animal Rescue. We had a dunk tank, which Mayor Fraser was first up on that. Graciously got very wet. Brad Savage, Ken Johnson, Jim Childs also attended to let people throw bean bags to get them wet. Sheldon from BP and Murray McDonald from Wolverine Gym sat in the ice bucket for 10 minutes, and how they did that is beyond me. Anyway, it was $10 for every minute they could sit in there. Sheldon, well, he lasted not quite 3 minutes, but Murray stayed there the entire time. $1,000 was raised. Half of my pickup truck was loaded with food, items for cats, dogs, all sorts of animals. Music was provided by Derek Brown, Timber Bigfoot, Daryl and Jordan LaVenture, and it was a great afternoon. They had horseshoes, and yeah, it all went to a good cause. July 2nd was an incredible day. We attended the men's hand game tournament, cooked breakfast for 100 plus people, scrambled eggs, sausage, and pancakes. That was great. Manned the table for the society for a while, and of course enjoyed the hand games. What else did I do? This past weekend, I'm very tired. It was incredibly hot. First off, a shout out to Wade Matheson and crew. The Fort Nelson motocross track was exceptionally, I've never seen it looking as good as it did. They worked the entire week to get the track ready for the PMA round 6 race. It's the largest race to date in the PMA. I have to thank Todd and Diana, Penny, Moira Biddlecombe, Pete Daw, all my boys from hockey and Streeper Kennels for their continued support of what we do. There was just under 400 entrants in the races, and there was 300 plus people camping on the grounds throughout the weekend, even through the heat. They've acquired a new nickname from everybody that was there racing, and they call the Fort Nelson Motocross Club now the National of the North. And I feel that, while this is only one event, people come from as far away as Chilliwack, which is, the Lower Mainland. It's a big deal in the racing community. It had substantial impact to the economy of Fort Nelson, from the hotels to the gas stations to our retailers, the vendors out at the track itself, the local vendors. So it impacted, I think, everybody quite well. And it was a great job by the club and their head, Wade Matheson. So yeah, we're glad to be a part of that. And lastly, I'd like to thank the Northern Rockies Fire Rescue and Quest Helicopters for not making me pack up my home last night. So, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. That's very good. Anyone else with report, any council report? I would just like to report that I too spent some time at the hand games and some time at the track as well the following day. Actually, some on the same day too. The hand games was actually a very fabulous event. That was the atmosphere of the whole thing. I was there a number of times, both in the early morning or early afternoon and then late at night. I was there one time till at midnight, and it was fabulous. The atmosphere overall was just very good. And I know that our community benefited greatly. I think that that could be something to be expanded in from a northern form of connectivity that we tend not to think about. But that was just a fabulous event and very, very well looked after. And I second what you said about the motocross. I walked around the area for a while, and I was very, very impressed with the level of preparation and layout and everything that it was clicking very, very well. I was really impressed. So thank you.
I'll just give you a quick update. Ryan's going to come in and thank the NRM at another meeting. He's just trying to recover. I think we all are. Yeah. It was pretty successful for the amount of people that we had volunteering and the number of people that were in town. We would not have been able to facilitate a tournament of 42 teams. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise that the fire happened and the road was closed, because there was like 8 teams stuck on the other side. And I was like, that's a blessing. But the biggest challenge we had was when the power went out and trying to keep everybody fed and coffee going and all that kind of stuff. But we managed to struggle and emerge. And the team that won was from Gamady. So they fly to Yellowknife. It's like an hour and a half, 2-hour flight. And then they drive from Yellowknife to here. So they're like the professional of all hand games players, and they don't travel unless they know they're going to place top 3. But it was a real good learning experience. I was really impressed by Prophet River, who had a brand new team. Like, they've never entered a tournament before. Those young boys, Curtis is down there mentoring them now. And so the expansion that the Fort Nelson Hand Game Society is having with Prophet River, Blueberries asked us to go down and facilitate a hand games tournament for them. And then Fort Liard will be there in September. So it's really growing, and this is a sport that was almost lost. So I think Curtis and Ryan deserve a big pat on the back for uplifting it again and bringing this to the community. And I think 2025, so the day that we haven't even finished wrapping up, we've given out all the prize money and we're starting to clean up. And Ryan goes, this is so awesome. We should have one next year for 100,000. I went, whoa, wait a minute. You said every 2 years. So the plan is every 2 years. So 2025 will be the next one. And the players were really appreciative of the host that Fort Nelson was, the hotels, the restaurants, the stores that were open. They really did appreciate it. Wrigley drove all the way down here for the hand games tournament, drove all the way back. And then Lolo, who's like a pro hand game player, picked up 9 youth and drove them back for the carnival, because they've never been in a small community where there's a carnival. And when I seen him, I'm like, Lolo, you're still here? And he said, yeah, I drove all the way back, picked up 9 youth and came back for the carnival.
Oh my.
Is that not crazy? Yeah, but it was a real learning experience for us. So we know things that we want to change up, but really appreciate the staff at the rec center. They were just amazing. Like they stayed until, we were only supposed to be there till midnight, but the final game wasn't finished till 2:00 in the morning. So yeah, we really appreciated that. But I'm sure Ryan will have a big report for the council.
Well, thank you for that. I met the the half of the team from Wrigley, they came to the farmer's market. We had a wonderful discussion there around Wrigley, and because I've been there before, and how many people have been there. It's a wonderful place along the banks of the Mackenzie. And you mentioned that, what was the name of the winning team? From Gamity. Yeah. Okay, I was watching them play, and I saw the linkage between the old hand game world and the young ones that are learning. That linkage was so clear. You watch some old guys who've been playing this all of their life, and the tricks they play in how to hide the stone and keep it's just really beautiful. And the fact that they are there, guys like that are actually part of what will really, the momentum, they're the seed to the new generation of the hand game. And your boys are definitely a very critical part of that. And we honor that. So looking forward to Ryan visiting us. That's good. Okay, public media question and answer period. Are there any questions from the public or media in attendance? No. Anything to discuss on budget, priorities set by council, or agenda business? Nope. Well, given that you're all in such a hurry, I'll declare that this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, John.